Discount Bourbon Review! I wasn't going to let him spoil all of my fun because today is a very special day, guys.
Yes.
We have a store barrel select of Buffalo Trace. And I think it's also single barrel. Single barrel store pick by Riverview Wine and Spirits. Barrel number 64, if that matters. Here in Sand Springs, Oklahoma.
The Oklahoma area. And we've got an original bottle. I think this is just regular, straight up Kentucky straight Buffalo Trace. We want to go a little side by side, see how they vary up against one another.
Because this one's going to be married. It's going to be a couple different years of Buffalo Trace, a couple different barrels, all mixed up into just a classic offering. And the other one's going to be a strict barrel select that was picked out of three...
And very highly toted by the workers at that store.
6 workers sampled between 3 barrels to come down to this one.
Yeah. We were told 6 and 6. Every single one of them.
Yeah,
so this is the one we want.
Barrel
that
64. One. That's ours.
And I was kind of excited about it. Got me a little going.
We won't do you too dirty here. We're going to go ahead and start off with a Buffalo Trace. Dylan, remind them a little bit about what we know about the Buffalo Trace history.
Big fan of Buffalo Trace. Of course, we went down to the distillery over there in Louisville, Kentucky. And honestly, I know Buffalo Trace was not the original. I believe Ancient Age was originally what they started out as. And I believe it was... What did our man Mr. Aaron say? Was it Aaron or was it Alan? I think it was Alan. I think he said it was 99. They switched to the Buffalo Trace name. So
most people out there drinking should know it as Ancient Age. Yeah. In more recent terms, it's come to be known as Buffalo Trace. There are a couple groups of people, 4 or 5 years of people that can drink since it's been name changed. But it's got a good smell.
It's got a very good
smell.
You. No.
Nice and sweet.
Of course, we're both in the age of just knowing it as Buffalo Trace. I never once knew it as Ancient Age. Of course, I like Ancient Age and what we've got up here. That's good stuff. But
of course, we're also those post-99 people I'm talking about.
Yeah. Just barely. Just a little bit.
We're just babies. Good.
It's very good. He gives a lot more ethanol off on the mouth than he does the nose.
You think so? You think he bites with a little bit more than he barks with?
Specifically with this bottle that we've tried on the channel before.
Yeah, check out that review.
I noted that same kind of feeling when we tried this bottle, and I did not note it when we tried the bottle in Louisville. That one was a lot smoother. Nowhere near as much bite. Of course, that one was probably a fresh bottle.
And I wonder if they did do a single barrel select, because in that video, we noted that the Sazerac sample we had and the Buffalo Trace sample we had up at the bar were just remarkably smooth compared to anything else we had seen so far.
And I think I tried the Buffalo Trace for the first time maybe a day or 2 prior.
Yeah.
And so that was fresh for me in that feeling and what I was thinking in it. And I'm still kind of feeling it. The flavors aren't bad. He's just harsh on this one in the palate. Hold on, let me...
Yeah.
I get a lot of leather tannins on them.
You get a lot of those oak and leather tannins?
Yeah.
When I shoot them back pretty straight, I get a lot more of those sweet notes. I wouldn't say it's the caramel and honey that comes along with the Weller, but he's not too far off the beat. I think it's definitely a young caramel, something that just got thrown in the pan, sugar just finished melting, and it's right there, just getting to be golden. And that little bit of rye spice that comes in with you.
Maybe just a little bit.
But this is Mr. Dylan's bottle of Barrel Select, so I'm going to let him do the honors of opening this one up for us.
Very exciting. This is my first open of a Buffalo Trace bottle. And for it to be a single Barrel Select, I'm very excited. Let me see here. Where's this guy?
Which I'm excited to see because I know that we've also sampled Blanton's on this channel, and Blanton's is something that Dylan's got quite a affinity for. He really likes the flavors there.
Been liking it a lot.
And they are single barrel across the board. Now, there's no select or anything like that. They're just all single barrel.
That was
a good pop
on him.
We're going to do our best to emulate it. Ready?
Hold on.
Let us know who you thought was better.
We can do this. It's
not no. One run.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
That's pretty good.
Okay. But
those are all single barrel. Blanton's are. So I'm curious. They said there's some good notes in here. I'm curious if these are the notes they're talking about.
Ooh, no.
That's all right. We'll take care of that.
If you didn't spill it, did you enjoy it?
That's right. Oh my goodness. Actually, he does have a very significantly different nose than that Buffalo Trace we just sipped. Wow. Yeah, let's let those people see that designation.
Oh.
Who does he smell like to you?
Wow.
Who does he smell like to you?
He gives off a lot more sweeter notes. A lot more of those caramel
butterscotches
notes.
and caramels that come with the bottles of Blantons we've had.
I don't know.
It's not there.
I don't know if I want to say butterscotch. I don't know if I want to say butterscotch.
That's a reserved word.
Reserved.
That's a reserved word.
It is very deep in the caramel. It really is. It pulled out a lot of that caramel.
Wow, I'm so shocked. Just a single barrel. Yeah, these two Buffalo
crazy.
Traces can be so wild.
I'm going for it. I want to know what she has to offer.
No, we did pay a little bit more. I think we paid $44 for this store barrel. It's out in the country a little bit further out. And, I mean, Buffalo Trace here in the area, a little north than 30, 35.
Usually, yeah, around that 35.
So, right at 44, it's $10 more, maybe just $5 more off of what a barrel select should be. But, how you feeling?
I like that a lot. It's nowhere near as loud. Ethanol just gaseous in it.
Yeah.
It's a really dark caramel. Like, it's not just like a really light. It's a really dark, rich caramel that you get out of him.
Almost bittering or hitting on some of the chocolate bittery kind of notes there on the back of the tongue.
Oh, a little bit. You can get that.
Not quite the depth and richness, but some of that, those bitter notes.
That's very interesting. He's not opening up for me a whole lot.
Now you got me just a little bit curious. I'm just going to do a cork sniff here.
You're going to get the difference on the butterscotch.
Yeah. Yeah. It brings you back down real fast.
Ooh, yeah, it does. But it's still good. That's a really bright
But you can see
caramel
where
that's the thing
in their recipe they're starting to get close to this.
That's the thing. You can really... Nose, very bright caramel. Really light caramel. But in the palate, it's a really dark caramel. And that's very interesting.
I like that fruits. There's some red fruits there. Now going back after that Blanton sniff. Maybe not red fruits. Maybe it's dark fruits. Maybe it's something like currants, plums.
I think plums is a good one. I think plums fits in there.
Now, we always have a Sprite cracked for cocktails just in case. Question is, Dylan, do we want to give him a cocktail designation?
If it's good enough for Elmer T. Lee, it's good enough for me to at least try it once.
To at least try it once.
I'm not pouring any more. I saved myself just a little bit. I think that's perfect. We were not exact on this one, but I just want to know. I think that's really good.
However you want to take them is going to be fantastic.
I think that's really good. It adds a really nice, complex caramel to the sugar sweet of that Sprite. That's good. I'm a big fan. Realistically, I see, just because he's a single barrel select, and he's my personal first single barrel select, and being a Buffalo Trace, I'm very excited about that. He's probably just going to be a sipper around my place. Mm-hmm. But he can be mixed. Without a question, he can be mixed.
I'd be more apt to mix his brother over here. I'd be more apt to mix just a standard Buffalo Trace bottle.
I can agree with that. Absolutely. I would probably... If I had both of them on my bar and I'm going for a mixer, I'm probably grabbing him first. I've got other things on the bar that I'm probably grabbing before the Buffalo Trace. But if it was just between these two, yeah, he's going to be my mixer. That nose, especially in comparison, that's a
it's so much more complex.
It is. Yeah. I mean, nose is going to be 7.5, 8 for me.
I think it was a pretty complex nose, especially with what Buffalo Trace has to offer. I'm unsure what I gave it back in the video, but I would say it's an above average nose. I'd definitely put it at 7, if not an 8.
It's a good one. Palate, I was very surprised by it. It does kind of hide things from you. He is a little complex. Mm-hmm. But it's just so vastly different, especially in that ethanol loudness in it. This guy really bites on me. Which I don't have a problem with. I can take the bite.
I mean, that's a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the fun.
This guy's so much smoother. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of that. I like it a lot for my palate. He's going to be... He's above
average. He's going to be a great one. Like you said, it's going to be a good one to bring home to the holiday to kind of puzzle some of your loved ones with.
Yeah.
Have had Buffalo Trace before and be like, hey, I got something a little extra special for you.
Yeah. I agree with that completely. and then swing in that blends right at the rear end of it. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that one.
So with this having been one of your first barrel selects, do you think you'd be more considerate of doing a barrel select like this in the future? Or
especially for something that if I have it actively on the bar, absolutely. Mm-hmm. If I have tried it previously at the very least, then yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more intrigued and interested in the single barrel.
But see, I think that's the way
if I haven't tried it before, if it's brand new to me, I haven't seen that brand, I'm more likely to go for a bottled and bond like the Heaven Hill over here.
Bottled and bond is always a fantastic way to start off. We know some of the bare rules here.
100 proof,
produced in 1 year, 100 proof,
at least 4 years in a government facility somewhere.
That's right.
So you can at least guarantee that quality whiskey. If I don't know what I'm getting into, if there's a bottled and bond available, that's typically what I want to go for.
Yeah, especially if I'm getting into a new distillery. That's always good. Either the base offering or a bottled and bond. Yep. I mean, you could always jump ship and get their best offering, but I think you're kind of spoiling yourself on the ride.
Sometimes. I agree with that sometimes. Absolutely.
Next one I'm looking at is that Michter's lineup. That's what I'm starting to think about.
Ooh, that Michter's lineup evades us.
It does. We see the bottles all the time, amount of bottles, we got some other things we had to report on for you. Yep. And those are all right there kind of edging up on fancy pants territory.
I'm excited about them, though. I want to get a couple of them.
That's right.
But that's the thing. We still have so many bottles in our price range that we can go through. I'm still really excited about this McKenna. We need to get that McKenna 10
we got to do the McKenna, and then we're going to have to put on our fancy pants for that McKenna 10. You're absolutely correct.
We need to get that McKenna 10 off Bobby. Just for a nib.
And then we still
I'll give him $10 for now.
We still got all the boys. We got to go through Jack. We got to go through Jim. We got to go through Jane. We got to go through Mike.
I'm excited about the Jack Bonded. I want to try the Jack Bonded. I really do. That might be.
That Jack Bonded is something that I've been considering because I've never been a huge fan of Old Number 7, but
I like them as just a little mixer, just to have.
Yeah, I mean, Jack and Coke always fine, easy at the bar. Something I've had a million times, but I'm never like, oh boy, Dad, you got to hear about this Jack Daniels.
The Bonded might change you.
The Bonded may change me.
But how do we feel overall about the single barrel
taste? I think whatever I gave, go check out the Buffalo Trace video. Check out my scores there and just add like 2 points to everything. I think all in all, this is a really good product. If you can find the specific Barrel 64 Riverview Wine and Spirits bottle that we have here, absolutely scoop it.
No question. That's really good.
And give the guy some love.
It's still in our price range too, just under that 50.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm going to go ahead and give it a number. I don't remember what number I gave the original Buffalo Trace. But
I'm thinking 9. I think it's a really solid bottle of Buffalo Trace.
I'm thinking 9. With price, you know what I mean, kind of involved in that. I mean, he's $20 less than what we spent on the bottle of blends.
This is the bottle of Buffalo Trace I believe holds up to like some of the legends. When people are like, oh my gosh, Buffalo Trace is such a good whiskey. You got to have it. It's always out of stock. You know, man, if you get a hand on a bottle of Buffalo Trace, whew, I feel like this is a bottle of Buffalo Trace that lives up to that hype.
Yeah.
The other over here, it's a little bit more name.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely. But still absolutely wonderful.